Croissant power up to the Big in Japan PSN sale. This sale ends on the 24th of February, so that's the last day for you to pick up these deals. Okay, let's look at the games. Up first is Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on an 86% discount for a price of £6.99, which is ludicrously cheap. I've never seen it this cheap before. This is a great deal. This is the best modern fighter plane game you can buy, and it even includes exclusive missions for PSVR. So if you have a PSVR unit, this is essential for you. And if you like fighter plane games, or always wanted to be Maverick from Top Gun, you should already own this. If you've got any interest in a fighter plane game and you don't own this, then just buy it. You won't regret it, I promise. BlazBlue Central Fiction is our next game. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for a price of £7.19, which is really decent. This game is a fighter, and you should know that by now because it's one of the biggest fighter franchises around. And it's also not one of the fighters that nickel and dimes you for all the different DLC. You get a lot of characters and they don't charge you a lot of money for extras, which is unusual for a fighter to have ethics. If you're looking for a fighting game, this is one of the best franchises around, and it's one of the newer versions as well. Basically, if you're looking for a fighter and you haven't played BlazBlue, or you don't own the newer versions, take a look at this. But there's a lot of fighters in this sale, so don't jump the gun too quick. Next we have Cat Quest. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £1.99. This game is an RPG where you're a cat and you set out on a quest. It's pretty simple, it got good reviews when it came out, and it's at a stupidly low price. If you're looking for a fun little RPG, then why not take a look at this, you might just be surprised. Next we have Chaos Child. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on an 80% discount for a price of £4.99, which is pretty good. This game's a visual novel, and is set 6 years after a massive earthquake in Shibuya. You investigate the killings that plunged Shibuya into terror 6 years ago. All the while, the gigalomaniacs with the power to make their delusions real are beginning to awaken. So there's a bit of a murder mystery, with a sort of disaster horror element. Visual novels aren't usually this discounted, so if you're looking for one and you haven't played this, you might want to consider it. Danganronpa or Another Episode Ultra Despair Girls is a huge title and our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on an 85% discount for a price of £3.74, which is pretty cheap. This game's a third-person action adventure, where the children of Towa City have begun an uprising, and now a war wages between them and the adults of the city. And now you and your friends must try and escape the city alive, and you may even discover the hidden secrets of the city along the way. Sounds like a pretty fun third-person adventure game, and it's from a well-known franchise that's very popular. And when you're looking at the low prices offered at, it definitely sounds like a good proposition. So if you're looking for a third-person action adventure, why not take a look at it? Especially if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll probably love it. Our next game is Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £5.99, which is pretty good. This is a third-person action game, and it's been remastered in full HD 60 FPS. In this game you play as the half-demon Virgil, Trish, or Lady for the first time in the series. And it also includes an extra mode, the legendary Dark Knight mode, with other improvements as well. This game is basically a hack and slash action game, where you get to fight demons and other things of the sort. So if you haven't played this series before, you might want to give it a try at this price. And if you're an old fan that hasn't played them in a while, maybe you'll want to pick it up again. Definitely a good franchise at a good price. So it's worth checking out if you're looking for a third-person action game or you're just interested in the franchise. Next we have Digimon World Next Order. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the price of £9.99, which is pretty decent for a Digimon game. This is an RPG game based on the popular series. In this game you recruit faithful Digimon and raise two at the same time, with real-time battles that favours Digimon cooperation, where you get to fuse two Digimon together to create even more powerful monsters. Digimon games usually have pretty mixed reviews, but if you're a fan you'll love them, and if you're not, then you might or you might not. So check them out maybe, but consider it before buying. Dragon Ball FighterZ Edition is next. It's released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 84% discount for a price of £11.19, which is pretty decent for this series. This game is a fighter game, and this edition includes the extra fighters Android 17, Bardock, Broly, Cooler, Goku, Vegeta, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Vegito, and a few Zamasu, which is quite a few extra characters thrown in at this price. The game features an exclusive story just for the game, so if you're a Dragon Ball fan you'll love that, and ultimately this is the best Dragon Ball fighting game ever made. Beautiful to look at, it's authentic to the series, and it's had rave reviews ever since it hit the scene. If you're a Dragon Ball fan and you don't own this yet, this is a great opportunity to pick it up. Just watch out for the expensive DLC because they have a ton of characters and they're pretty pricey. Our next game is Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £3.19, which is dirt cheap. This is a third-person action game where you get to play as 4 unique classes: the Adaptive Ranger, the Aerial Wing Diver, the Supportive Air Raider, and Fencer the Armored Juggernaut. It has nearly 100 missions to play, with 4-player online co-op, and tons of weapons and artillery to deploy. In this game you basically utilize weapons and mecha in order to defend cities from alien invasion. It's pretty bonkers and cool and has a pretty huge fan base, because it's basically a lot of fun, even if it is pretty silly and hilarious. Take a look for this price. Next I have The Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 50% discount for a price of £7.99, which is really good. This is a third-person action RPG, and it's basically a reskin of the Yakuza series, which isn't a bad thing at all, and that's a good compliment. This game includes varied additional modes, including bartending and buggy racing mini-games, so there's a lot of variety in this game. Basically, if you like the Yakuza series, and you're a fan of Fist of the North Star, then you'll absolutely love this. But if you're not a fan of the Fist of the North Star, then you might be better off with the normal Yakuza games. Either way, this is a good game, and if you like the sound of it, why not take a look at it? We have another fighter, Guilty Gear XRD Revision 2. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £6.99, which is dirt cheap. This is a fighting game, and this edition has extra story modes, new characters, additional stages, and gameplay balances. Just like BlazBlue, this is one of the biggest fighting franchises around. Guilty Gear and BlazBlue have been around a while, and they've proven themselves in the market. If you're looking for a decent fighting game, then you should at least consider this alongside BlazBlue. They're both popular because they're great games. So if you want one, pick up the one you don't have, or the one that floats your boat. Either way, you'll have fun. Next we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 86% discount for a price of £6.71, which is really good. This is a third-person action brawler, and it includes a lot of DLC that wasn't free in the Japan release. This game includes an exclusive original story, which will be great for JoJo fans, and you can play as more than 50 characters from the first 8 chapters of the manga. This game is a 2v2 fighting game that includes team attacks and involves fighting in big open areas with a lot of interactable scenery items. If you're a fan of JoJo, you'll love this game, and if not, you might just like it if you're looking for an action brawler. Oh look, more fighters. Jump Force. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 86% discount for a price of £7.69, which isn't bad. This game is a fighter game that involves characters from the shonen Jump Force manga company, so you'll get to play as characters including Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu Yu Hakusho, Saint Seiya, and many others. It may not be the best fighting game around, but if you're a huge fan of Shonen Jump, then you'll get a lot more out of this than some of the other fighting games. But if you're looking for the best fighting game, you want to pick one of the others because this isn't it. Up next is my star buy, Kingdom Hearts All-in-One Package. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 75% discount for a price of £22.49. I know what you're thinking, that's a lot of money, why is this the star buy? Well, let's get into that. This is an RPG series, and it combines Square Enix characters with Disney, which makes this series hugely popular, and a bit legendary at this point. Now the reason I've included this, even though it's so expensive, is it includes 7 full games. Yeah, you heard me right, 7 full games. It includes Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Rechain of Memories, 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep Final Mix, Dream Drop Distance HD, 0.2 Birth by Sleep A Fragmented Past, and 3. Plus it includes remastered cinematics of Kingdom Hearts 3582 Days, Recoded, and the Kingdom Hearts back cover movie. So basically includes nearly everything from the entire history of the franchise. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you'll love this. Buy it if you don't own half the games. And if you've never played Kingdom Hearts but you're looking for a cool RPG series, or you've always wanted to play them, there's so much content in this you'll probably be playing it for months, and have so much fun along the way. It's a huge package, at a really good deal. I've never seen them anywhere near this cheap before. That's why it's my star buy. At least look at it, because it's a crazy good deal for such a legendary franchise. It's not often you see such a complete bundle on sale. It's pretty crazy. I wish more game franchises would do this. Koto Doma, The 7 Mysteries of Fujisawa is our next game. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £3.99, which is really cheap, especially considering it's a visual novel. They're usually pretty pricey. While investigating the 7 mysteries, you uncover keywords, and then you use the keywords in the puzzle phase to strip your target naked and expose their lies to solve the mystery. Repeated playthroughs uncover more facts, and by finding all of them, you get to uncover the true ending, including a full art gallery. So this game's designed for multiple playthroughs and replayability. So if you're looking for a visual novel to play, especially one with a lot of replayability, then you might want to pick this one up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Standard Edition. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 75% discount for a price of £8.74. Now be careful because the deluxe edition is on sale as well, and includes 6 extra characters. But it's a bit of a rip-off for the extra money they want, so I'd buy the standard edition instead. This is a fighter game with 8-player online multiplayer, where you get to play as a load of characters from the Marvel and Capcom franchises. This game's been around for decades, and is one of the most popular fighting series ever made. These days it's not considered as good as it used to be, but it's still a great franchise with a legendary history. You should check this out at least, especially if you're a fan of Marvel or Capcom. You'll love this if you are. But if you're looking for the best fighting game, you definitely want to look at some of the others as well before making up your mind. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is our next game. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 86% discount for a price of £6.71, which is crazy good. This is a traditional JRPG, and it's got the most beautiful graphics created by Studio Ghibli that you'll ever see in a game series. In this game you play a young king who is overthrown in a coup, and then you set out to search for a new kingdom, and along the way you try to unite the world to protect its people from the dark forces that threaten them. This is a beautiful game to look at. It's got a ton of content included in it, and the story's not related to the first game, so you're not missing out on anything by skipping it. If you're a fan of JRPGs, you should definitely take a look at this, and if you haven't played a JRPG before, this is a really high quality game to start on if you're interested. Oh look, another RPG next. Omega Quintet. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and is on an 80% discount for a price of £4.99. But that's with the PS Plus account, and if you don't have PS Plus you shouldn't look at this because the price without it is too much. This game is half RPG, half idol simulation, which makes it pretty unique and interesting. You get to customize your idol's outfits, accessories, hair and more, and then when you're fighting, using the weapons of music, you can enter a concert mode to put on a live performance to fight your enemies. This looks like a really unique JRPG, and they've put a lot of effort into the idol simulation parts of the game, making it truly worthwhile for fans of both genres. It's different, it's cool, and if you like the sound of that, you should definitely consider picking it up, because there's not a lot of games like this around, that's for sure. Onishambra Z2 Chaos is our next game. It's released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £5.99, which isn't bad. This is a third-person brawler game, where you get to play as 2 buxom vampire sisters. over the course of more than a dozen stages. This series got a lot of attention for its art style when it first released, but ultimately it's a really good brawler game that's pretty popular, and has had a lot of sequels, so you know it's decent and worth playing. If you haven't played a brawler in a while, and you fancy helping a couple of vampire sisters kick some ass, then why not take a look at it? You'll probably have a lot of fun. Up next we have PixelJunk Monsters 2 Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £3.59, which is really cheap. And the deluxe edition includes 3 extra stages and a new defense tower. This game is a tower defense game where you play as Tiki Man, the spirit of the forest, and it's your job to defend it from an invading army of mysterious monsters via the medium of real-time tower defense gameplay. I love tower defense games, and I played the first one of this, which I liked, and this one looks like a really good sequel. And for this price, you can't go far wrong. So if you like the sound of that, have a look at it. Another visual novel is next, Root Letter Last Answer. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £4.99, which is pretty good for a visual novel. This edition is revamped with additional content and live action sequences. In this game, 15 years ago, your old pen pal died mysteriously, and now you return to investigate what happened and maybe uncover the clues to the truth of what happened to your friend. This was a really popular visual novel when it came out, and now it's back with extra content and some revamped features. So you can't go far wrong. If you haven't played this before and you're looking for a visual novel, then why not consider picking it up? And if not, there's plenty of others in this sale to look at, so take a look around. Oh look, it's another visual novel, Song of Memories. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for a price of £7.49, which is okay. This is another visual novel, and a romantic one at that, with a bit of a dark underbelly. This is a musical love story where you find your soulmate, but then have to worry about them as an apocalyptic virus outbreak begins, and it threatens to take your newfound love away from you. This looks like a decent visual novel, but there's plenty on sale right now, so be sure to check around before you pick one. And next we have yet another fighter, Soul Calibur 6. This was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 86% discount for a price of £7.69, which is really good. This edition features the guest character Geralt from the Witcher series, and in the story mode you can revisit the events from the original game with the Soul Chronicle mode. You also get to create your own fighter with the built-in character creator, and it includes new battle mechanics unique to the series. I've played this series ever since it first released on PlayStation 1, and I love it. It's a really good series, and what makes it unique compared to other fighters is that it's weapon-based. All of the characters have a different weapon, polearm, nunchuck, katana, which makes it different and adds variety. This is a legendary series and a really good game to play. For fans of fighting games, you've got a lot of games to look at this sale, and I don't envy your choice because so many of them are great deals. Strider is our next game. It was released in 2014, so it's 7 years old, but it's on an 80% discount for a price of £2.39, which is dirt cheap. This is a Metroidvania game where you play the assassin Strider Hiryu, and you're sent to breach the metropolis of Kazakh City and kill the Grandmaster Mayo. I've played and completed this game, and it's a really good example of Metroidvania games. It's been around a while, but it's really good, and it's at a really cheap price. So if you're looking for a Metroidvania game, you can't go far wrong with this. It's well worth picking up if you're interested. And if you've never played a Metroidvania game before, then at this price why not try it? You might just love it. Next we have Super Beat Sonic EX. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for a price of £3.99, which is really cheap. This is a rhythm game with over 65 unique songs and an online ranking system. So fans of this genre will have a lot of fun vying for the top ranks of the online boards. You don't see that many rhythm games these days, and I can't remember the last one I've seen. And this is at such a cheap price that fans of the genre should definitely pick it up. And for anyone that hasn't played a rhythm game before, maybe you might want to look at it. But there's so many good games in this sale, there's a lot to tempt you. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is next. It was released in 2019, so it was 2 years old, and is on a 75% discount for a price of £8.74, which is pretty good. This game has beautiful anime graphics and cutscenes, which make it a pleasure to watch. This edition includes updated full HD graphics, new music tracks, mini-games, bosses, and unreleased costume DLC. It also includes 2 new playable characters, Patty Floor and Flynn Sifo, so there's a lot of extra content in this edition. This game is a JRPG where you follow the fates of 2 friends on separate paths that eventually intertwine into an epic adventure as a power struggle begins in a civilization dependent on ancient technology. This looks like a really high quality JRPG, so if you're looking for one and you haven't played this before, you might want to check it out. And for anyone that hasn't played a JRPG before, then maybe take a look anyway. Or Ni no Kuni too. You never know, you might just find your new favourite genre. We have a racing game next, Trailblazers. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and is on an 80% discount for a price of £4.99, which is really good. This is a unique team-based racing game, where you paint your team colour behind you as you drive down the track, allowing your team members to gain a boost by driving on your team colour, which makes the racing line for the tracks dynamically change based on where the paint has been laid down by your teammates and rival racers. Which makes this a very unique racing game that's well worth looking at for racing fans. But for anyone else, it may be a little bit too different for you. It's horror time. White Day at Labyrinth Named School is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on an 85% discount for a price of £3.74, which is really good. In this game, you and your fellow students are locked inside your school at night time, and now you're being hunted by a killer janitor and the troubled souls of the dead. Now you must hide and survive to uncover the school's dark secrets and escape alive. This looks like a pretty cool survival horror game, and at this price you can't go far wrong. Fans of the genre should check it out, and if you don't play these games very often or you never have before, at this price is probably worth considering. If you're not scared anyway. And the final game I have for you is World End Syndrome. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 75% discount for a price of £8.74, which is pretty good. This is a visual novel, where you play through a romantic horror story, spending your summer days exploring local legends, interacting with residents to uncover the mystery lurking below the town's idyllic exterior. And it features gorgeous artwork from Yuki Kato, who was the lead artist for the BlazBlue franchise. This looks like a pretty decent visual novel, but there are a lot of them on sale at the moment, and this is one of the higher priced ones, so definitely take a look around before committing to buying it. And that's all the games I have for you for the Big in Japan PSN sale. If you like the content that I'm doing, do me a favour and like and subscribe. It really helps out, and it lets me know that you want me to keep making these videos. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones? Did I pick bad ones? Were there some games I missed out that should have been included? What did you think of my star buy? Do you think something else should have got the star buy instead? Throw all of your complaints in the comments and we'll argue about it later. I hope you guys found some games that you're interested in, but more importantly I hope you guys saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Loyal Vower.